Kremlin caught faking it. Journalists exposed Putin's staged meetings. UK Defense Secretary believes Trump can still bring Putin to negotiating table, and how Ukraine confirms strikes on Russian Shahed drone base in Donetsk and oil facilities in Crimea. The latest news next. On the night of November 5th, the Ukrainian Defense Forces struck important Russian targets. Among them were the launch site for Shahed drones in Donetsk and oil facilities in Crimea, according to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Damage in Donetsk. According to Ukrainian General Staff, the night operation targeted the Shahed storage and launch base located on the territory of Donetsk airport. Explosions and a powerful secondary detonation were recorded at the site. The task was carried out by units of the Missile Forces and Artillery, the Unmanned Systems Forces 414th Brigade, and the Special Operations Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Damage to logistics hubs in Crimea. In addition, Ukrainian units struck 3 fuel and lubricant storage facilities in the temporarily occupied Crimea. In particular, at the oil depot in the village of Gvardeyskaya, hits on a tank and cisterns on the loading rack were confirmed. At 2 bases in Simferopol, damage to tank farms and fires in fuel tanks were recorded. Ukrainian's General Staff emphasizes that the Ukrainian Defense Forces are consistently implementing a set of measures to destroy critical elements of Russia's state military-industrial infrastructure, both on its territory and in the temporarily occupied territories. The goal is to deprive Russia of its offensive capabilities and the ability to continue its aggression. Powerful explosions were heard in the temporarily occupied city of Donetsk on the evening of November 5th. Local channels reported a missile strike. It is known that the target could have been at Russian ammunition depot. Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, DIU, has reported that the Freedom of Russia Legion, a resistance movement opposed to the Kremlin regime, has conducted a series of successful operations targeting Russian military logistics infrastructure. Reported by Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, DIU said Freedom of Russia fighters have been active since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion and are currently one of the largest and most effective resistance movements operating inside Russia. Their attacks hit locomotives used by Russian forces to transport weapons, ammunition, and equipment for military operations against Ukraine.
The underground resistance participants' Molotov cocktails burned the control and power systems of dozens of engines that were used to transport military cargo.
These strikes have significantly slowed the movement of enemy resources and affected the stability of supply for Russian army units at the front. Journalists from the Systema investigative project have discovered that the Kremlin routinely passes off pre-recorded meetings of Russian dictator Vladimir Putin as current events, says the Ukrainian Center for Strategic Communications. According to the Systema investigation, the Kremlin regularly releases previously recorded meetings with Putin, presenting them as fresh appearances. Such videos are called canned because they are published on days when Putin does not appear in public. The mechanism is simple. Officials attend a pre-recorded meeting in advance, and on the day of publication, they show up at other events wearing the same outfit to create the illusion of a live broadcast. However, as the center notes, it's impossible to maintain perfect consistency. Example, Svetlana Chubsheva, head of the Agency for Strategic Initiatives, attended 2 different meetings with Putin in 2025, one released in April and another in September. On both release days, she appeared at other public events wearing the same clothes. But several details give the deception away. Different earrings in the canned video and at the real event on April 9th. Books are arranged differently in Putin's office, the same unusual arrangement of pens and pencils on the desk in videos supposedly recorded 6 weeks apart. These details reveal that the regime deliberately fabricates the president's activity and tries to conceal his absence in real time. Russian fakes. It's worth noting that Russian occupiers have repeatedly been caught lying and manipulating information. Recently, Russian propaganda began spreading a fake claim that Ukrainian soldiers are allegedly ordered to kill their comrades who try to leave their positions or surrender. Earlier, pro-Kremlin channels circulated a video showing Romanian fans at a Ukraine national team match chanting the name of Russian dictator Vladimir Putin, which of course also turned out to be fake. UK Defense Secretary John Healey remains convinced that US President Donald Trump could persuade Kremlin dictator Vladimir Putin to begin peace talks regarding Ukraine, reported by Politico.
President Trump is the figure that can bring Putin to the table, that can potentially deliver an end to the fighting.
Healey stressed that the work of partners in the coalition of the willing is regularly refreshed so that we can generally feel we are ready at the point of peace whenever that comes to step in and help secure that. Politico noted that he had made his remarks after a meeting of the Joint Expeditionary Force in Bodo, where they signed a new partnership agreement with Ukraine. Let's be real, no one brings Putin to the table through charm or polite diplomacy. You don't reason with someone who built his power on lies, fear and blood. The only language the Kremlin understands is pressure, relentless, united, uncompromising pressure. Putin won't negotiate out of goodwill or fatigue. He will do it only when he has no other choice, when the cost of this war, militarily, economically and politically, becomes unbearable, even for his own circle. Every time the West talks about inviting him to peace talks, he hears weakness. Every time we tighten sanctions, strengthen Ukraine's defense, and stand firm together, he hears reality. If Trump or anyone else wants to bring Putin to the table, they would better understand this. You don't seed him, you force him there with the weight of consequences. Peace isn't born from appeasement, it's born from strength. Anything less will only buy him time to reload. That's all for today. Thanks for watching this video. Support Ukraine, like and subscribe.